Hey guys, it's TheDragonicEmpire here, and we've got a Beast Deity profile. It's Mars deck, so we're going to go through this one by one, all of the effects, starting with the main grade 3. Strongest Beast Deity, Ethics Buster Extreme. So why would you play this over the reverse one at the moment?
Well, the reverse, it just costs you quite a bit, even though you could get 8 attacks out of it. It's still a cost to lock units. You're just not sure which ones to lock either, because they could stand and keep attacking again, so you have to mess about a lot with the grade 2 and grade 1 lineup. At least with this, you can set up the grade 2s quite easily, where you can get a number of attacks in.
I would say it's I like the Goku effect. Essentially, you get anything that's not a grade 0, you can stand something.
Yeah, anything grade 1.
You're not reliant on the break ride either as much.
No, it does help you sometimes when you can break ride, especially for making a 13k Vanguard, so the 16k.
Nice.
The 16k sticks then just becomes 5k shield, 5k guards at the end of the day.
And of course, like 3 of these, because we're not completely dependent on the cross break ride, but having the extra rear guard, as you said before.
Yeah, it does help out.
And having 3, you're somewhat likely to get your cross break ride off later on in the game anyway. But the more important card is this.
So then run the 4.
4 of the Beast Deity Ethics Buster.
4 of the Ethics Busters, because we're trying to make the whole deck Ethics Buster as we can, and I'm just trying to make it pure normal
So
deck.
are there Ethics Buster reliant rear guards?
They're not Ethics, but a lot of it is special counter blast, as you see later on.
Oh.
A lot of them do need to have the Beast Deity in their name to counter blast, or for activate abilities they need to be Beast Deities.
Okay.
So we'll go through that. That's the grade 3s. Yep.
Sure. Oh, and just to clarify, the grade 3 effect is when you break ride, when it comes to the Vanguard attack, you can stand front row rear guards, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And then run 4 Leos.
So I take it this is a defensive ride?
Yeah, this is just for, it can be defensive ride, it can be used for rear guard if you're just attacking by itself, but this can be used in the reverse, but I like to use it in the main deck as well. I'll take it over the Anklet, because for a rear guard, for 9k, can just be poked out with another 9k.
It's true.
But with a lot
and I think Anklet works a lot better in reverse anyway.
Because with a lot of decks now, they use the 9s or the 10s only because of abilities. So with the 10k, they're not really going to poke a 9 out, they're going to drop
It's
a
true.
rear guard.
I would say they're less likely to attack this thing.
Yeah,
as
they're
well.
less likely to attack it. They're just going to go for the Vanguard if they're going to beast white and rear guard when you can count me to guard. Because if it's 10k, I'm just going to let it go.
Makes sense. Right, and now...
Okay, we start with, yep.
Of the Brainy Papios, and this is one of these special counter
Yeah,
blasts,
special counter blast. We counter blast with Beast Deity. When your attack hits, you can stand another rear guard.
which
Any
isn't
Beast
bad.
Deity rear guard
Especially
you
if you're
like.
playing this card
Especially
here.
if
If you're playing Riot Horn, you stand the unit in front of it, obviously this gets stood as well. So you've got a possible 16k column to stand there.
Easily getting a 16k column. So it's basically one of the main grade 2 assets for the deck is a Vanguard and rear guard ability.
Oh,
so it's
nice.
quite useful than anything
I think
else.
on turn 2 on the Vanguard, you're very likely to get this off too.
Yeah, I mean you can get this off, especially if the opponent wants to counter blast, especially like decks like Angel Feather, where they need the damage zone to manipulate a lot. They will take the early damage, so you can get them quite easily on.
Fair dues. It seems like a pretty decent card.
And then just have small decks, a 12k for having a Beast Deity.
Yeah, it's a pretty good stand
And
target
then
as
this
well.
is the usual for gonna have it behind the right horn, because it comes a 17k attacker.
Easy enough.
It's like simple. Yeah.
Okay.
And then down to the grade 1s, you have Desert Gators,
So basically,
10k.
it's your Beast Deity 10k attackers.
Yes, 10k attackers.
Great for rushing. This is a... Would you say this is a rush deck, or is it like more of a late
It
game?
can be a grade 1 or potential grade 2 rush, but like it depends on the opponent that I'm facing against. If they are slow at the beginning, then I could rush them like Spike Brothers. If I try to rush them early on before they rush me, then that could be an advantage more for me.
Fair
And then,
dues.
yeah.
Okay.
And then next one, same.
This is an interesting card, Max Beat.
Max Beta is just basically a better Black Marsh. If there are Beast DT players out there, that is just basically in the battle phase, counter blast 1 and stand.
It's much less, much more reliable than Black Marsh, because you have to hit with that, right?
Yeah, you have to hit with Black Marsh. Just the only downside is like has to be you can't blast a Beast Deity.
It's not so bad though, because with your main Vanguard ability to stand a rear guard, if you choose this card to stand and pick the unit in front of it, that's possible 18k column as well. So not bad against crossroads.
And then 2 Black Marshes. It's just still in the engine because this is the main I use behind the Vanguard. So sometimes the Vanguard attacks does hit, then I can stand another rear guard.
It's true,
And
it does
potentially if
add
I
extra
do
pressure.
have max beating, can stand this and stand the one in front of it. Especially with the Vanguard, if I have another one, then I could stand more. So at least potentially I'll get 5 attacks off each turn. instead of using the reverse one, I'm only going to get 8 attacks off, possibly the only whole game.
Yeah, but that's quite a bit. You can get 8 attacks off, but I would argue it's a bit inconsistent at times.
It can be inconsistent at times. So with the reverse, you're counting on 8 attacks to finish game. With this, you can do consistent control of 5 attacks.
Consistent big-ish turns instead of like one very, very big turn.
Yeah, and as usual, 4 no guards, which have to be Beast Deity, because when worst comes to worst, you can still call them.
And obviously with a special counterblast, it's always handy to have extra damage use if you do damage check them. And plus, of course, they're null guards, so having null guards is great to defend off against these cross-break card attacks.
So to use the 8 critical.
So flipping damage face up, I don't think you counterblast that often in this deck, do you?
You can come to a game, especially in late game, where you might have counterblasted and they've guarded, depending on if they do have a 13k Vanguard, and if my columns are swinging for 16 or even 17, that they guard for 5, so this special counterblast just causes them for me then to put a bit more pressure on the opponent if they don't have a guard later. And these are the only 4 in the deck that isn't a Beast Deity, which I could have had a full Beast Deity, but stands with the break ride, they don't always.
I think the rear guards aren't big enough to rely on stands either as well. You're playing a lot of 9s.
If only one is standing, that's not pressure at all. With the 8 crit, there's lot more pressure.
It finishes the game a bit earlier too.
Yeah. And then 4 draw.
Okay.
Because no matter which Beast Deity, even in the reverse, the draws are very crucial.
You need a little bit of setup.
You just need a little bit of setup. You're trying to, a lot of it does revolve around the grade 1, that you just need the right grade 1 to place. Grade 2's for...
It's a shame they don't have like an Akane clone or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot in there that can really draw with the grade 1s. They're just potential to stand, so you need that to go off. As if you break wide, especially if you do break wide first before your opponent, you need the setup a lot more than anything else, especially when you are facing against Chaos Breaker. You want to break wide and then game. And you want game, because if they do then lucky units, then you have to have a lot of control factor. You need to control the field then.
I would say playing against Chaos Breaker, because it's forced to lock a front and a back row unit, you could just play all front row units with this deck essentially, couldn't you? Because then they can't break right at that point.
And then lastly,
4 heals. They keep you in the game. It's a good general trigger.
It's good general trigger, and it's a Beast Deity, so at least then you have another target in case we do get healed.
And we've talked about this just recently as well. But the starter is of course Beast Deity Right Horn, because absolutely brilliant card. You stand the rear guard in front of it, which is very consistent with the cross break ride skill, or just the break ride. And yeah, this stands with it to make a much better column to punch with.
Yeah, because if the worst comes to worst, you have to call a grade 3 over the potential better grade 2s. At least it's still a 16k. Yeah. Because you're still hitting, even if they are cross ride or rear guard, 5 or 10, it's essentially your opponent's dropping guard no matter what happens.
Seems very consistent to getting those stands off, and it's a good deck. Thanks for joining us anyway, and this is the Beast Deity deck profile. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, comment down below if you've got any feedback for us, subscribe for more content, and we'll see you next time.